Hi everyone, we're back at Bath Artisan Market, Bath Artisan Live online. In fact, I hope you're all enjoying the day and that you've been visiting the virtual stores and checked into the Facebook group. And that's the Bath Artisan Market virtual market Facebook group where there's lots of products coming up all day. But also, I hope, as I said, that you're visiting the virtual stores because you can meet some of our lovely traders like Simon Webb, who's here right now with me. And hi, Simon, how are you doing?
Hi, Catherine. I'm very good, thank you. Very good.
Good. And I don't know if you're a regular follower of Bath Artisan Market, you may have seen Simon before. And he makes very beautiful and unusual writing instruments. So, hi, Simon. I didn't know whether you want to tell everyone a bit more about what you do and also a very special service that you offer.
Sure, yeah, absolutely, Catherine. Yeah, so I've been doing this for 5 years professionally now. So I make pens and pencils, fountain pens, roller balls, ball points, and I make gentlemen's jewellery as well. So I make cufflinks, and it's all using beautiful woods. So all the pens are made with wooden bodies, and I like to use, I like to use English hardwoods. I use exotic burrs, but I also like using woods with a story behind them, some history, and that's really, really important to me. So some of the ones I've done with some, historical significance is I'm doing pens and cufflinks for Bath Abbey at the moment. So the Footprint project, which is a £20 million project to restore Bath Abbey. As part of that, they pulled out this beautiful old oak, which they very kindly let me have some. So I'm making a whole range of products out of that, and they're for sale in Bath Abbey. Well, obviously not at the moment, but I'm selling those as well. So that's the sort of thing. I've got a small amount of wood from HMS Victory, some oak from Victory. I think the last time they refurbished Victory, there was about 30 tons of oak that was removed and sold at auction. So I've got a small amount of that. And going on from that, one thing I really, really enjoyed doing is making pens and cufflinks from people's own wood or own wooden objects. So I've had all sorts of bits and pieces of wood. I had a chap who gave me I think it was a desk sort of stand, and it was made from teak from HMS Ganges, which was the last sailing ship to be a seagoing flagship, and he wanted some pens made out of that because he was Royal Navy and his dad was Royal Navy. I've made loads of the most unusual sort of objects. Tool handles seem to be very popular, and from my point of view, they work fantastically because they're always hardwood and they're always very well seasoned. So in fact, one of the last ones I did was another chap from the Bath Artisan Market, Damien, who gave me a hammer handle that belonged to his grandfather, and I turned that into 3 pens for him, his brother, and his father, so they all could keep a piece of this. So it's taking something that might be just gathering dust in the corner of a shed and turning that into something beautiful, but something usable as well, rather than just sitting there doing nothing. They can actually use this and remember the person who it belonged to. So I really, really enjoy doing those.
Yeah, and it's very popular, isn't it? Like people do really love, bringing their favorite items to you, sentimental items. We have talked about it's a bit like the repair shop, isn't it? On the TV, that's a series that people really love. They really love their old objects being restored, and you kind of do that. You kind of upcycle them, don't you?
Yeah, I mean the other nice one from Bath was from the Grapes pub. So the landlady there very kindly, when they were refurbishing the Grapes, and it's a very historic pub. It's the building itself predates the Circle in Bath. So when they were refurbishing this, and it's a listed building, there was some 300-year-old oak floorboards, and they had some small offcuts, and she brought them to me, and she says, "Are those any use to you?" And I said, "Well, yeah, that's fantastic." So I made a range of pens and cufflinks again out of this beautiful old elm. Yeah.
Exactly, but we've got to talk about this celebrity commission, which I'm going to just try and make the focus now.
It's all a bit surreal, really, Kathleen. Yeah.
Talk us through this.
Well, it's a certain chap called Nick Mason, who's a drummer for a band called Pink Floyd. You might have heard of them. I don't know. But he runs a charity event every year in his house, which is in Corsham, and he opens the gardens up to the public to raise money for charity. and I think it was the Bobby van and the Wiltshire Air Ambulance last year. And it's just a fabulous day. So I was very fortunate to get an invitation to have a stand there. And just before it started on the Saturday, this was a whole weekend event. Nick Mason came up to me. And he sort of, my stand caught his eye, so we wandered over, and I recognised him. So we had a lovely chat, and he bought one of my fountain pens off me, which was quite exciting. We got into an email conversation after that because he wanted a different nib fitted, and I said to him, and he said to me, I hope you can come back next year, this year. And I said, I'd love to. And what I'd really like to do is make a pen for your charity auction. I said, perhaps I could do one of your drumsticks. A few days later, I get a package in the post, and it's 2 drumsticks signed by Nick Mason. And these are special made for him. So literally, the last couple of days, I've finished making this pen, and I've kept the section of wood that's got his signature and the thing that says Pink Floyd, and that's all in a nice presentation box. So it's let me pull it out of the box, Catherine. So this is a sort of thing I do. So this is a rhodium and gold plated fountain pen made in, this is American hickory, the drumstick. So that's quite special. So that's going to be going for auction. Unfortunately, his event is obviously had to be cancelled this year because of coronavirus. But we're seeing what else we can do, to hopefully raise some money for these really good charities.
That's great. I just love that story. It's amazing.
It's got a bit viral, actually, Catherine. I put it up yesterday on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, and I've had lots and lots of interest in it. So yeah,
brilliant.
Really,
it's a brilliant
feedback.
Yeah, and it just shows what you can make out of a drumstick, and like you said, a hammer handle. So it doesn't have to be really, really historic as an old. It's going to be sentimental or
absolutely
touched by the hand of celebrity.
I had a lady who had a table, and she says, I don't like it as a piece of furniture. It's not my sort of thing, but it was my late mother's, so I don't really want to get rid of it as such. But I turned that into 2 pens for her and her brother, which was nice.
Great. So people should really get in touch with you if they would like something made out of a special piece of wood. So how do they get in touch with you? You've obviously got your Zoom room, which is 11 o'clock today, isn't it, until 2?
Yeah.
You're just the special one that's doing 11 till 2.
Yeah.
Because you've got a poorly cat.
I've got a poorly cat.
Everyone will let you off for the poorly cat.
10 o'clock appointment at the vet. So.
So how else can people get in contact with you and see your?
Best bet's my Facebook page. If you look for Simon Webb Artisan and go on my Facebook page and get in contact with me there, and be very, very happy to discuss anything corporate. The other thing I do is a lot of corporate work. So if there's lots of estates. So here in Swindon, 5 minutes down the road, we have a place called Lydiard Park, which is a stately home and beautiful, beautiful garden. So I've made pens from one of their trees that blew down in a storm, a 300-year-old walnut tree. So really
lovely.
Yeah, thank you.
And when we're back at Bath Artisan Market, first Saturday of every month, when we're back, you'll be there as well.
I will definitely be there. It's my favourite place to trade.
Well, thanks so much, Simon. Have a really great day.
Fantastic. Thank you, Catherine.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.